So, good evening everyone. We are the Group 7 and for today's reporting, we are gonna report about the importance of safety and security for tourism destinations. So, next slide please. Although, yung main purpose ng mga travelers kung bakit sila nagta-travel is for pleasure, meron pa rin mga considerable elements of risk na associated with both travel and tourism. And yung mga international tourists, pwede pa rin nilang ma-encounter yung um, many kind of dangers like wars, terrorist attacks, crime, natural disasters, epidemics, transport accidents, food poisoning, and even wild animals. Mamaya magbibigay ako ng mga examples regarding that dangers. This kind of episodes or dangers are not confined to any particular geographical regions, as crises respect no political or cultural boundaries, sabi ni Santana 2004. So, yung mga kind ng episodes na to or dangers, hindi lang siya nangyayari sa isang geographical region or isang lugar. Dahil yung mga crisis na to or mga disasters, incidents, hindi sila namimili ng lugar and hindi din sila bumibase sa kahit anong political or cultural boundaries. According naman kay Dwyer et al., factors such as international terrorism, security, infectious diseases, and tourism safety consciousness are likely to continue over the next 15 years, as global trends would play an important part as drivers of tourism change. Dahil yung perception ng mga tourist sa safety and security ay isa siyang major determinant sa tourist decisions pag mag-visit sila sa isang place, as well as in the scope of that tourist activities sa destination na yon. All of the above mentioned dangers na na-mention sa taas, pwede silang mag-lead sa significant decline sa tourism demand. Next slide please. Ito yung mga topics na mare-report or madidiscuss namin throughout the reporting. Number 1 is concept of safety and security and their influences on the tourism industry, importance for tourism destinations and role of their frequency and severity. Next is motives of the perpetrators of security incidents, the targets and the location of the security incidents. Number 4 is impacts of security and safety incidents. Number 5 is description of media coverage and the image perception management during security and safety incidents. And the last one is prevention and mitigation of security and safety incidents and with recovery strategies. The importance of safety and security for tourism destination is very high. And according to the findings of Dwyer et al. 2009, safety and security are among the fundamental requirements for a successful tourism development at a destination level. And dagdag pa ni Petty et al. 2005, yung mga tourism daw, pwede silang yung mga tourism experiences, pwede silang maging tawag ito, hindi ganun ka-satisfied sa madaming dahilan. Pero kapag yung tourist daw ay naka-encounter ng kahit anong form ng physical harm, pwede yun mag-cause ng problem para may in terms of promoting the tourism of that particular area. Next slide please. And dagdag pa ni Dwyer et al. 2009, yung perception daw ng tourist sa safety and security sa isang destination is magiging important na competitive advantage pa rin yun sa padating na decades. Other safety and security incidents like natural disasters or exposure to terror attacks are more challenging and more difficult to deal with. Yung next section naman, it will provide more details on safety and security incidents and mas madi-differentiate yung difference between them. So, yung unang i-report ko is yung safety incidents. Next slide please. Ano nga ba yung safety incidents? Yung safety incidents, yun yung mga accidents na nangyayari unintentionally. Ibig sabihin nun is nangyayari yung mga incidents na yon na walang may gusto. Okay? Walang may gustong mangyari ng mga yon. Nangyayari siya, hindi maiiwasan. Ganon. So, under safety incidents, merong tatlong categories. Number 1 doon is destination management related incidents. So, itong mga incidents na to, nangyayari to dun sa mismong destination na pinuntahan ng mga tourists. So, yung number 1 na example ko doon is, next slide please. Number 1 example doon is yung food poisoning na nangyayari sa mga certain countries like Mexico and India. The first one is the Montezuma's Revenge in Mexico. Itong Montezuma's Revenge na to, nanggaling siya sa pangalan ng isang emperor noong 1500s na nag-rule sa Aztec civilization. Ang pangalan niya is Moctezuma II. So nung 1500s, merong isang Spaniard na nag-travel sa Mexico and then pinatay niya si Moctezuma para ma-acquire yung Aztec civilization doon, yung mga tao doon. Until nung namatay na si Moctezuma, lalong dumami yung mga white-skinned people doon or yung mga Spaniards. And doon nila na-encounter yung pananakit ng tiyan or diarrhea because hindi sila sanay dun sa mga food doon and mga water resources. Kasi mas malakas yung immune resistance ng mga black-skinned people, which is yung mga nakatira sa Mexico, sa Latin American part, kesa dun sa mga dumating na nag-i-invade sa Mexico, which is yung mga white-skinned people, mga Spaniards. And then yung pangalawang example ko naman sa food poisoning is yung sa Delhi Belly in India. So, itong Delhi Belly na to, parang same lang siya sa Montezuma's Revenge na halos yung mga pumupuntang white-skinned people or yung mga tourist na pumupunta sa India is lagi silang nakaka-encounter ng pananakit ng tiyan or diarrhea because kapag nagte-travel sila, syempre pag nagte-travel sila, gusto nilang itry yung mga foods doon, local foods, ganyan, hanggang sa sumasakit yung tiyan nila and yun, eventually kasi hindi naman din ganun ka-linis, ka-safe yung mga foods na tinitinda nila, pero syempre gusto pa rin nilang itry, kaya yun, sumasakit yung tiyan nila. And yung next naman na example is fire sila na nangyayari sa mga hotel, and the number 1 example is yung 1980 MGM Grand Fire in Las Vegas that killed 87 people. So, eto namang fire na to, nangyari siya because nagkaroon ng electric malfunction sa loob ng electric wiring na sa loob ng wall sa isang pastry room doon. So, yun, nag-malfunction siya, then nag-create ng smoke, and then yung smoke na yun, nag-create ng fire. Yung fire na yun, nag-spread siya doon sa mismong pastry room ng isang hotel, sa lobby ng hotel na yun. And then, yun, kumalat yung apoy dun sa buong hotel, and then halos namatay yung mga tao, yung 85 people na yun dahil sa smoke inhalation. And then yun, hindi na kasi sila nakaalis agad because yung fire mabilis siyang kumalat sa buong hotel. And then yung next example naman ng fire sa isang hotel is yung 1997 Pattaya Royal Resort Hotel in Thailand that killed 88 people. Ito naman, yung gas tank, nag-explode siya sa isang coffee shop doon, and walang warnings na nangyari sa buong hotel, and then wala ding water sprinkler. And yung sa 1980 MGM Grand Fire din, walang water sprinkler noon, like hindi pa nila ata na po-provide that time. So, yun, hindi na warningan yung mga tao sa Pattaya Royal Resort Hotel na yun nga, meron ng fire na kumakalat dun sa buong hotel. Yung that's sad. It is 88 people yung mga namatay. And then 2004 Republica Cro-Magnon nightclub fire in Buenos Aires that killed 194 and injured 714 people. Ito naman, isa siyang nightclub. So club siya, tapos forbidden yung mga doon. Alam niyo yung mga quitties na ginagamit kapag New Year, yung sinisindihan ng ganyan, tapos tinanawakan mo lang ganyan. Bawal lang ganun doon. Kasi, yung mga ginamit na materials dun sa club na yon, sila, made of, ang tawag dito? Made of wood, tsaka styrofoam. So, madali lang silang magliyab. Ganon, flammable sila. Kaso, merong nakapuslit na isang customer na may dalang, tawag dito? Pyrotechnic flare or parang quittist. And then, doon nagsimula yung fire. hindi na nila naagapan kasi nga mabilis kumalat din yung apoy. Tapos hindi rin agad nakaalis yung mga tao kasi sinarado nga nila yung mga exits para hindi makapasok yung mga taong hindi nagbayad. Kaya mas lalong mas madaming taong namatay that time and na-injured. Ganun. Namatay sila dahil sa smoke inhalation, ganun. And then, yung last naman is yung July 1976 when an outbreak of pneumonia occurred among the people attending a convention of the American Legion in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Okay, tama. Ito naman, parang nag-arrange din sila ng event or convention. And then, yung mga legion na yon, yung mga American Legion na tinatawag, meron na silang sakit sa lungs talaga. Yun, may sakit lahat yung mga pumunta doon na mga tao. And then parang meron silang tawag dito, meron silang na-inhale doon na pwedeng lalong maapektuhan yung health nila. Pagkatapos ng convention na yun, pagka-uwi nila, merong mga taong, yung mga galing na tao doon na may sakit na, mas lalong lumala yung mga sakit na nafe-feel nila sa katawan nila. Tapos eventually namatay din sila. Yun. Ganun siya. And then the second category naman na under sa safety incidents is yung nature-related incidents. So alam naman natin to. Nature disaster, ganyan, natural disaster, hindi natin sila mapipigilan, di naman din natin sila, anong tawag dito? May iwasan natin sila, but not really. Okay, we just have to really prepare for them. Ito naman, medyo recent lang nangyaring to. 2024 Bali, Indonesia landslide that killed Dutch couple. Etong Dutch couple na to, sinabihan na pala sila nung yung kung saan kasi sila nagstay, tawag doon, Yebat Villas. That night pala, masama na yung weather and wala din power dun sa villas na yon, sa Yebat Villas. And sinabi ng mga employees doon na, ma'am, you can go to other resort po or other staycation house kasi nga wala nang power doon. Pero nagpumilit pa rin yung couple na we wanna see the room, ganyan. Sabi naman nung mga employees doon na, ma'am, wala pa rin pong power, ganyan, there's still no power, ganyan. No, we're gonna wait for the power to come up, ganyan. Kaso hindi na nila nahintay sa sobrang pagod nila and nakatulog na sila. And then bandang 4 a.m. doon nangyari yung landslide. And then yun, na tamaan nga din yung Yebat Villas nung landslide. And then nung na-recover nila yung Dutch couple, na-recover nila dun sa pinagsistayan nila, nandun pa rin sila dun sa bed in a sleeping position. Tapos naka-blanket pa rin sila. And then wala man silang injuries or wala man daw silang kahit anong wounds, pero puno daw sila ng muds. Yun. So, dun daw sila namatay. Dun sa parang mud, ganun. Di na sila nakahinga. Yun yung cause of death nila. Tapos yun, pinadala na lang sila. Inuwi na lang sila din sa Netherlands kung saan talaga sila nakatira. That's sad. And then yung isang example ko pa dito sa nature-related incidents is yung sa Descendants of the Sun, if you know about it. Yung nagkaroon ng medical missions yung mga Koreans sa Uruk. Tapos, dahil nagka-medical mission sila doon dahil dun sa mga bata na gusto nilang tulungan para tawag dito, ma-monitor nila yung mga health ng mga bata doon, and meron ding mga military forces na Koreans na dineploy doon. And then, meron ding mga Koreans construction worker na gumagawa ng building dun sa mga matataas na rock formation sa Uruk. And then may isang earthquake na dumaan, which is massive earthquake siya na talagang nagiba yung, or like, ang tawag doon, talagang nagiba yung buong building na ginagawa nila. And then meron mga Koreans na natrap dun sa loob ng building na yan. Di na sila makalabas kasi naiipit na sila dun sa mga degrees ng rocks na bumabagsak. Then yun, nung na-rescue na sila, hindi na sila humihinga. Namantay na sila, or meron ding mga naipit. Tapos yun, sa katagalan, hindi na nila kinayan. Namatay na din. Tapos yun, pinadala na lang din sila sa Korea na nasa kabaong na. That's sad again. So, the number 3 category under the safety incidents is yung 2020 ay yung tourist-related incidents. Yung tourist-related incidents naman na to, parang more on about siya sa tourist itself. So, let me cite an example for you. Yung 2024, 13 Japanese tourists and 2 locals were hurt in Naga Road accident. So, ito naman pala, nag-ride na sila ng van, 3:30 AM pa lang, on the way sila para manood ng mga whale sharks. And then, meron silang kasabayan sa daan na truck na biglang sumulpot out of nowhere. Mabilis din yung pagdadrive ng driver ng van. So, yun, nag-collide sila, ganyan. Then, nag-crash. Pero, hindi pala sila namatay. Na-injured lang sila. Nadala pa sila sa hospital. Yun. And then, let's move on to the security incidents. Security incidents naman, ito yung mga accidents na nangyayari dahil sa mga actions ng mga ibang tao. So, intentionally. Nangyayari sila intentionally. Under the security incidents, merong 4 na generators or categories. Under security incidents. Number 1 is crimes. Next slide please. Yung crimes naman, under crimes is robbery, kidnapping, assault, murder, halos ganun sila. So, yung example ko is yung 2023 tourists from New Zealand held up, shot dead in Makati, Philippines. So, may isang gabi na naglalakad daw yung tourist from New Zealand na yun na si Nicholas Peter Stacy. 34 years old siya. Naglalakad sila ng girlfriend niya sa gilid ng daan sa Makati. And then, bigla daw may nang hold up sa kanya na riding in tandem. Pero, naglaban siya. So, nung naglaban siya, bumunot daw ng barel yung hold upper. And then, kinuha din ni Nicholas yung barel na yon. Kaso, hindi niya nakuha. And, naputok na nung riding in tandem sa kanya yung barel. So, yun, namatay siya. Natamaan siya ng bullet. Di na siya na-revive. Namatay siya. So, yun, nagkasundo din yung New Zealand doon and yung Philippines na parang magkaroon din ng tribute para kay Nicholas. Ganun. Then, months after, nahuli din yung mga pumatay sa kanya, yung riding in tandem. Kailangan din silang hulihan kasi parang yun yung pinramis ng Philippines sa New Zealand. Yun. So, yung number 2 category under security incident is yung terrorism. So, we all know about the Abu Sayyaf terrorist group of the Philippines, the rebel group of the Philippines. 2000, 2000, Abu Sayyaf terrorist group kidnapped 20 Malaysians and were taken in Jolo, Philippines. This one naman is kinidnap ng Abu Sayyaf group yung mga Malaysians sa isang resort sa Malaysia. And then hinold up nila, kinuha nila yung mga valuable things, and then tinutukan nila ng barel hanggang sa pinilit nilang sumakay sa bangka yung mga kinidnap nila, then dinala nila sa Jolo, Philippines. So sa bandang siya, pinakababa, syempre mas malapit dun yung Malaysia, diba? Tapos yun, nangihingi sila ng ransom sa Malaysian government, ganyan. Hanggang sa months after, syempre, wala na din naman na silang mapapakain dun sa mga tao dun, sa mga kinidnap nila. Yun, nagkasundo yung Philippines and yung Malaysian government na magbigay ng pera dun sa mga nagkikidnap, yung mga sa Abu Sayyaf group, para ma-retrieve yung mga victims or yung Malaysians na kinidnap nila. And then, yun, nabalik naman yung mga Malaysians, and then nag-surrender din yung mga Abu Sayyaf terrorist group. Dalawa dun sa Abu Sayyaf group, nag-surrender sila sa Philippines. Hala, ano to? Bakit nagpa-pop up yun? So, anyway, the third category under security incident is yung 1941 Pearl Harbor. If you're familiar about this, ito yung binomb ng Japan yung America sa pinaka weakest part nila, which is yung Hawaii, dahil nandun yung mga tawag dito, transportation na pangdigmaan, or like yung kung saan lahat yung mga inventories ng US Army, US Naval, yung mga tawag dito, mga boats na malalaki, ships, mga aircrafts, yun. Nangyari yun noong December 7, 1941, Sunday morning. Bakit sila umatak ng Sunday morning? Because alam nila na day off yun sa Amerika, and meron silang spy doon sa mismong Hawaii. And then, edi yun, binomb. Walang kaalam-alam yung American yan. Sa Hawaii, nandun lahat yung mga soldiers nila. Pagkatapos ng bombing, madaming namatay, legit. Yung Arizona ship talagang nag-sink, madaming hindi na save. So, sobrang sakit, parang crucial part yun para sa America. And then, after, hindi mo na sila agad nag-revenge kasi hindi pa nila kaya. As in, talagang malaking damage yun para sa kanila. After 4 years, doon sila nag-revenge. Binomb nila yung, using aircrafts, binomb nila yung Tokyo and yung mga neighboring cities ng Tokyo. And then, nag-surrender din eventually yung Japan kasi hindi na nila kayang i-shoulder yung damage na nangyayari sa bansa nila. And bakit binomb ng Japan yung USA? Kasi nagkukulangan na sa resources, natural resources yung Japan, and particularly oil, and kailangan nila ng tawag dito, kailangan nila ng resources, dahil parang ginawa nila yung act na yon para makapag-invade pa sa USA, kaso hindi nga siya nagtagumpay kasi nga syempre malit lang yung Japan and sobrang laki ng USA. And then one thing din kung bakit parang binob ng Japan yung USA is para wag daw makialam yung USA sa pag-i-invade ng Japan sa mga Southeast Asian countries like Philippines. Kaso syempre, ano magagawa nila kung gusto nilang mag-isama sa mga gera, diba? So at the end, hindi pa rin nagtagumpay yung Japan dun sa gusto nilang mangyari. So yun, parang lumaki lang lalo yung ginawa nilang gulo. Ganon. And then the last one na category under security incident is yung civil or political unrest. Yung example ko dito is yung South Africa before 1994. If you are already familiar, the South African people are black. And then, before 1994, mayroon mga white people doon na from the government there na nagmamanage sa South Africa. And then, meron silang ginawang law, which is yung apartheid law. Yung apartheid law na yon parang sinesegregate nila yung mga white people from the non-white people. And then, nagkakaroon ng discrimination, racism, kasi hindi nagiging fair yung mga opportunities na nabibigay between dark people and white people. Until parang syempre hindi naman na kaya talaga ng mga black people yon dahil sobrang unfair. Nagkasundo sila na magkaroon ng group and mag-protest against the white government there, yung mga nagmamanage doon na white people. Then eventually nakamit naman nila, na-achieve naman nila yung gusto nila, yung goal nila na magkaroon ng democracy. Democracy between white people and black people. So, yun, medyo naging fair naman na, nawala na yung apartheid law, and ngayon mas nagiging fair naman na yung mga opportunities. So, though, meron pa rin namang mga racism na nangyayari, but still, there's a big difference from before and now. So, let's move on to the next topic, which is, next slide please. Frequency and severity of safety and security incidents.
Yan. Ako na mag-report. Okay. So, frequency and severity of okay. Ulit. I-cut mo na lang yun.
Cut ko. Wait lang.
Diba i-edit mo naman yung...
Cut ko na siya na.
So, the topic that I'll be discussed is the frequency and severity of safety and security. For this topic explains how the frequency and severity of security incidents has a impact to the tourism, from severe and frequent incidents, especially those receiving a media attention that can significantly affect the tourist decision, that lead to a lower demand and booking cancellations. To understand it more, ito yung mga incidents or yung mga pangyayari na nagkakaroon ng high media coverage or yung mga binabalita na nalalaman natin through the media, ay nagkakaroon daw siya ng impact sa isang tourist sa kanilang pagdedesisyon, either sa pag-travel nila sa isang destination. So, according naman sa findings ni Pisam and Fletcher, the tourism industry typically recovers within 6 to 12 months if such incidents do not happen, or hindi na siya nauulit. Magbibigay ako ng example para magets natin kung bakit yung tourism industry nagre-recovers siya within 6 to 12 months kapag hindi na nauulit. Pero yung overall the topic is ito lang naman yung mga impact of those incidents na nangyayari na nako-cover ng media. Also, overall ulit. Nabubulol ako. Cut mo na lang yun, Ben. 1, 2, 3. Overall, the impact of these incidents tend to decrease if we understand the motives behind the security incidents and also creating effective plans for mitigating their impact on affected area or destination. Ayun yung dinidiscuss ng topic. Magbibigay ako ng example for this frequency and severity of safety and security para maintindihan natin siya. So, if hindi pa kayo familiar dun sa terrorist attack ng Paris, siya? Naka-experience yung Paris ng terrorist attack noong November 13, 2015. Tapos yung mga terrorists, they attack randomly the city, tapos nag-violence sila doon. Tapos they targeted concert halls like football, stadium, and restaurants na nag-cause ng chaos sa mga tao. Tapos yung acts na yun is attribute daw siya sa Islamic states, which is yung mga political issues. Tapos, maraming taong namatay doon. Tapos yung iba naman na injured. Sa pagkakaalam ko, 130 people were died that time. Tapos the world was shocked by this violence, resulting in garnering significant media coverage worldwide. So kumalat siya through the media, tapos binalita pa siya sa worldwide. Na nag-cause ng worry ng mga tao na pupuntahan pa ba nila yung destinations na yun. As a result nga, yung mga turista na papunta sana doon sa particular place, ay nag-cancel sila ng mga flights nila papunta sa destinations na nag-lead to a lower demand. Tapos yung mga tour operators na apektuhan sila kasi nga doon din na lang sila kumikita sa mga turista. Tapos ayun, also yung mga hotels and restaurants din, syempre naapektuhan kasi alam naman natin yung Paris, isa sa mga pinupuntahan talaga ng mga tao that time. Tapos nag-lead pa siya ng lower demand. Tapos as a result, yung Paris, nag-remain sila ng resilience para hindi na maulit yung terrorist attack na nangyari. Tapos, nag-mitigate sila ng plan na para hindi na maulit yon. Sa kasayahang palad naman, di na siya naulit within 6 to 12 months. Kaya yung mga tao ngayon is pinupuntahan na ulit yung Paris. And now, isa na siya sa mga pinakamaraming tao na pinupuntahan sa buong mundo. Ayun yung example for this topic. So, the next topic that I'll be discussed naman is the motives and targets of security incidents. Ito yung mga perpetrators. This topic explains the various motives behind security incidents, including political, religious, social, economic, and personal motives. These incidents ranging from violent act to a non-violent crime. Pag sinabi nating violent acts, ito yung mga murder, rape, or something that crimes against the persons. While yung non-violent crimes naman involves destruction or theft or yung mga robberies na nangyayari or kaya yung mga pag-aagawan ng mga properties na hindi ginagamitan ng force or threat. Ayun yung explain. Tapos, on this part, it shows how incidents has a motive, not just an accident, but may reason nila bakit nila ginagawa yun. Either nga to gain publicity or yung media attention, or dito na pumapasok yung mga political issues or iba pa. And also said here that political and religious motives tends to have the most severe impact on tourism demand, followed by economic and social motives, because they can directly influence travelers' decisions on safety concerns. Overall, it discussed how security incidents encompass a wide range of criminal acts, not just a violent ones. This may include non-violent crimes like yung mga robberies na nabanggit ko kanina, na nag-lead siya to a violent acts like murder. Tourist destinations are particularly vulnerable to such incidents due to the presence of tourists who may be perceived as easy targets. That explains the topic. Magbibigay ako ng example para maintindihan pa natin. So, for example, isang destinations na kilala for historical site and cultural attraction. Tapos, recent years, there has been a rise in security incidents targeting the area, which is in destinations nga. Tapos, itong incidents range from bombing and shooting to robberies and assault, each with its own motive. Bali parang planado siyang incidents. Parang may motibo kung bakit siya ginagawa. Tapos, yung motives naman nila dito is parang to destabilize the government and gain attention for their causes. Parang for example, parang may hinanakit sila sa governments, kaya nila ginagawa yung mga bombing and shooting. As a result nun, ng pag-atake ng mga perpetrators na to, nag-cause siya ng mga cancellations of booking and decline and visitors numbers. Parang yung mga turista is na ano sila, na parang naanoan sila na huwag pumunta if merong mga bombing na nangyayari within the destinations. Nag-cause siya ng mga cancellations booking. Syempre, nag-lead din to ng ng lower demand sa tourism industry. Tapos, the perpetrators, driven by economic motives, target tourists for their valuables. Tapos, these incidents not only harm victim but also create negative publicity for destination and further potential visitors affect. Ayan. Tapos, itong example na binigay ko, illustrate how different motives behind security incidents can have impact tourism demand and affect the reputation and economy of a tourist destinations. So the next wait, ulit nga, nabubulo lang. The next topic that I'll be discuss is the target of security incidents. Ito naman yung mga perpetrators na tinatargets yung mga tourists. This topic shows that tourists are vulnerable targets for security incidents at tourism destinations due to factors like their appearance and behavior. Tourists, including their famous personalities or yung tinatawag natin yung wealthy-looking or yung mayaman-looking, can be victimized daw as a violent act during their vacation or stay in a particular destination. Sabi ni, according to Chesney Lind, 1986, along with Barte et al. And Pisam and Mansfeld, tourists are more likely to be targeted than a local residents. It's because, yung mga turista afford nilang mag-travel while yung mga locals hindi. Kaya yun yung mga tinatarget nilang gawan ng masama. Due to their behavior such as entering unsafe areas and their appearance or yung mga panonood nila, pwede daw mag-perceive ng yung panonood nila, including their perceived wealth or yung pera sila, pwedeng mag-cause ng parang mag-cause ng ganong incident, like yung mga pagnanakaw nga. Bali yung authentic experience ng tourist sa kanilang pagbe-vacation is nagiging pangit kasi kasi itong mga incidents ay nangyayari pa din. Terrorists often target tourist destination for their potential for mass casualties and immediate media attention. This passage explains these vulnerabilities is crucial for implementing effective security measures and protecting tourists and the tourism industry. This topic shows that tourists is easily targeted for their appearance. So, magbibigay ako ng example for this topic. For example, mayroong group of tourists na namamasyal sa isang destinations na kilala as parang maganda doon is parang maganda yung destination kapag gabi. Tapos isang araw, nag-try sila na parang mag-ikot-ikot sa destinations na yun. Hindi nila alam yung destinations na iniikutan nila is parang uncomfy. Tapos yun pala is yung lugar na pinuntahan nila is kilala as parang kilala sa puro nakawan or yung maraming snatch na nangyayari. Ayun, doon naka-experience sila ng parang incidents na gano'n na snatch sila dahil hindi mo na nila inalam kung ano nga ba yung pinupuntahan nila. Tapos as a result, yung tourist syempre magbibigay ng feedbacks yan sa sa media, like magpo-post sila ng mga something na pangit dun sa lugar na magkukos na hindi pupunta ng mga tao yun kasi nagkaroon sila ng bad experience sa ganong situation. Tapos yun, isa rin yun sa nakakabigay ng negative impact sa tourism kapag ganong incidents nangyayari. And overall, the topic illustrates how tourists can become vulnerable targets for security incidents due to factors like their behavior, appearance, and symbolic value of tourist destinations. That explains the topic.
So the next topic is location of security incidents. So as mentioned before, in some cases, hotels have been the most targets for the terror attacks. So according to PISM 1999, one of the basic conditions for terrorists to target hotels must be located in a region that has numerous sympathizers who can provide logistical, moral, and financial support to the terrorists. In most cases, terrorist attack will not only occur at locally owned economy hotels that cater to domestic tourists. So, yung ano nila dito is yung according to PISM, yung tina-target nila ng mga hotel is yung may mga taong mayayaman, lalo na pag yung hotel is internationally branded. Yung mga sikat at mga may foreigners. For example, yung Marriott, yung mga ganyang hotel, yung mga pang-international. So, sabi din dito, in most cases, terrorist attacks will not occur at locally owned economy hotels. So, for example, yung sa Baguio, yung sa Camp John Hay at saka yung Manor doon, hindi nila masyadong tinatarget yung mga ganun kasi nag-cater lang naman sa mga domestic tourists, hindi naman gaano kasikat yun. At saka kahit kilala yun, parang hindi nila mas prefer yung ganun na mga hotels. And also, according to PISM and Mansfeld, another major security issue that affects tourism demand to a destination is crimes. So, example, yan, may mga places na yung areas nila with little police presence, low amounts of pedestrian traffic, and poor physical characteristics of the tourist surroundings. So, yun yung parang mga madidilim, doon din nag-occur yung mga terrorist attacks, tsaka mga crimes. So, yun lang. Next slide po, please. So, impacts of security and safety incidents. According to Richter and WOG 1986, Ryan 1993, PISM and Mansfeld 2006, tourism is an industry where both demand and supply can be sensitive to security and safety incidents. The occurrence of these incidents strikes and impacts all the participants in the delivery of the tourism product, namely the tourist, the destination, the tourism industry, destination governments, and generating markets and their governments. So, yung impact ng security and safety incidents sa tourist is yung mga tourists, they might experience fear, anxiety, which can lead to changes in their travel behavior. So, yun na nga, baka mag-cancel sila or ma-postpone yung kanilang trip. And then, sa destination naman, example, yung destination, may mga negative incidents na, so, madadamage yung reputation ng isang destination. So, it will lead to a decline in tourist arrivals. Next, please. So, impact of safety and security incidents on tourist behavior. So, according to SOAR, it was evident that the fear of safety and security incidents plays a significant role in shaping the overall risk perception of a destination and in the decision-making of the tourists and shaping their and shaping their behaviors. So like if a tourist is planning for a trip in a particular destination, susuriin muna niya or i-evaluate niya muna yung place na yon, if it's safe na puntahan or secured ba yan na place bago sila bago nila puntahan yun. Kasi itatanong nila muna if may mga crimes ba doon, like natural disaster. So example ko naman dito, like before may nag-ask sa akin na doctor, it's a dentist, na nag-ask siya about dun sa place from Mindanao, which is Zamboanga. Tapos sinabi ko lang siya na like sometimes okay naman if pag babasihan natin yung natural na disaster, hindi naman gaano doon, like if mga bumabaha or yun na nga, floods. Tapos, lindol, wala ganun. Pero pag crimes, yung pag-uusapan, medyo tayo doon. Kasi, like, ako na-experience ko na yan na, like, nag-aaway yung sa kabilang barangay. Pero sa bahay namin, like, kasi nasa ibang barangay kami. Like, ako naglalaba lang, tapos sila dun. May mga bomb na, nagpuputo ka na doon, like, yung ganun. Pero, syempre, ako, nasa kabilang barangay lang naman yun, wala naman sa amin. So, relax ka lang. Tapos malalaman mo na, may namatay na doon. Ganun lang. Relax ka lang doon. Ganun lang sa Zamboanga. Ganun yung times doon. So, yun na nga, nagtatanong sila if it's okay doon na puntahan. Pero, okay lang naman siya minsan. Minsan lang din naman. So, yun na nga, yung kay Sunmes 1998, kay First and Rachel 2010, the tourists that are in the process of planning their trips will either change the destination of their booking. So, yung mga tourists naman daw na nagpaplano na pumunta doon, either mag-change sila, ika-cancel nila yung booking nila or mag-change sila ng destination. Or kaya mag-ask sila ng information sa mga nakapunta na doon, kung sinong may alam doon sa place na yon, or mga relatives ba nila, or kaya magre-research sila sa internet, or kaya pwede naman sila mag-ask sa tour operator. And then according to Yes Cham, assert that the main differences in the impact of terror events on tourist behavior depend on the three dimensions of cultural aspect. So yun na nga, yung example, yung mga tourist daw doon na like, yung iba kasi mas sanay na sila. Yung mga tourists from countries daw na may history na about terrorism, mas sanay sila sa mga hakbang na dapat gawin o baguhin sa mga plano. And on the other hand naman, yung mga hindi sanay, sila yung mas maingat para maiwasan yung mga ganong destination. Para maiwasan lang yung pag-atake if nandoon na sila. And then, yung kay Penhay and Inverson 1994, previous travel experience with a particular destination also enhances the feelings of safety. So, like, galing ka na doon sa isang destination, in that particular destination, pwede ka nang, yung parang sanay ka na, kaya alam mo na paano yung galaw doon, saan ka na makapunta, like, feeling mo safe ka na doon. So, yun lang naman yung impact of safety and security incidents on the tourist behavior. So, next slide, please.
Impact of security and safety incidents of destination. According to PISM 1999, found that the spectrum of effects on tourism demand resulting from violent acts occurring at destination range from no effect to a slight decrease in demand, to a significant decrease, to a drastic decrease, and even to a cessation of all tourist visitation. Sinasabi dito ni PISM 1999, pag merong incidents na nangyari sa isang destination, like small incidents pa lang, is hindi masyadong maaapektuhan ang number of tourists of arrival. Pero pag big incidents na mga nangyayari, like nagkaroon na ng war sa isang destination, is maapektuhan ang isang destination na to dahil sa onting pagbisita ng mga tourists, dahil natatakot sila na baka hindi safe dito sa isang lugar na to. Next one is, according to PISM and Mansfield 2006, generally, with the exception of very drastic and serious security incidents such as mass terrorism and war involving local residents, the acts committed against tourists at a tourist destination affect tourism demand much more than the acts committed against the locals. Sabi naman dito ni PISM and Mansfield, when something bad happens sa isang tourist sa isang destination, is maapektuhan ang mga posibleng gusto pang pumunta dito. Like, for example, merong turista na pumunta sa isang beach, like nagkaroon ng incident doon na nanakawan sila. Syempre, ang mga maaapektuhan nito is yung mga visitors. Like, hindi na sila pupunta dito sa isang destination na to kasi they feel unsafe coming to this destination. Unlike sa mga local residents na pag pumunta sila dito sa isang destination na to is okay pa rin sa kanila. Unless pag may mga malalaking nangyari na, like major incidents na nangyari sa isang destination, like nagkaroon na ng war or something like that, is parehas na silang maapektuhan. Next one is impact of security and safety incidents of destination. One of the findings states that neighboring countries are negatively affected as regards tourist demand and also experience a strong negative impact on their image and attractiveness. Sabi dito ni Enders et al. 1992 and Rakos and Kultan 2003 is pag may nangyari daw sa isang bansa, like nagkaroon ng incident sa isang bansa, maaaring maapektuhan ang mga katabi nitong bansa. Just for example is nagkaroon ng war sa Russia and Ukraine. Ang mga mga tourist na gustong pumunta sa Ukraine is parang natatakot na sila. Kamukha sa mga katabi nitong bansa. Kasi iniisip ng mga tourist na baka posibleng mangyari yung nangyari sa Ukraine dahil magkalapit lang silang bansa. Another finding demonstrates that there is a pattern of inverse impact of a terror event that leads neighboring countries to a benefits when they are chosen by visitor as a replacement destination because they are perceived as safer. This is according to Mansfield 1996 and Ariana and Leon 2008. Dito naman sa findings na to is magkaiba siya dun sa sinabi ko kanina na naaapektuhan din yung mga katabi niyang bansa. Dito naman sa findings na to is magbe-benefits naman ang mga katabi nitong bansa. Like, for example is nagkaroon ng lindol sa isang bansa na to is ang mga tourist is parang magkakaroon na sila ng replacement sa kanilang destination. Like, mas gugustuhin na lang nilang pumunta sa mga katabi nitong destination kaysa pumunta pa sila dito kasi feel nila mas safe dun sa mga katabi nilang lugar. Okay, next one naman is impact of safety and security incidents on the tourism industry. This is according to PISM and Mansfield 2006 ulit. They stated that security and safety incidents impact tour operator in both generating markets and receiving destination of the tourist system. Sinasabi naman dito na parehas naapektuhan ang parehong tour operator ng parehas na bansa. Like, pag may nangyaring incidents dito, kunyari ako, gusto kong pumunta ng Ukraine. Then, yung Ukraine is nagkaroon ng incidents nga like war. So, maapektuhan yung tour operator nung Ukraine, and also na pinanggalingan ko na Pilipinas. Kasi nga, pwedeng i-cancel ko na lang yung trip ko papunta dun sa sa Ukraine kasi nga I feel unsafe na pumunta dun sa isang destination na yun. Next one is, tour operator are struggling financially as security incidents lower tourist arrival, prompting the need for new solution. This leads to a reorganizing of staff affecting service quality. Dito naman sa pangalawang bullet is, yung tour operator daw is pag nahihirapan na sila financially dahil nga sa mababang pagbisita ng mga tourists, hindi na masyadong pinupuntahan ng tourists itong destination na to, is pwedeng mahirapan sila financially dahil nga wala nang bumibisita. Pero meron pa namang mga new solution na pwede natin gawin, like ito nga nakasulat dito na this leads to a reorganizing staff and affecting the service quality. The next one is, international hotel, restaurants, airlines, and cruise lines often pull out of the areas affected by disaster, causing harm to people and infrastructure. This due to a reduced demand and higher insurance costs impacting their profits. Dito naman sa bullet na to is, pag may nangyari daw na disaster sa isang lugar, like nagkaroon ng lindol, bababa ang demand ng isang destination na to. Kasi konti na lang ng mga tourist ang gustong bumisita dito sa destination na to. Kasi nga feel nila hindi safe dito sa isang destination na to. That's why maapektuhan ang profit ng mga kumpanya like airlines, hotel, ayun nga. Kasi nga onting tourist na lang ang mga gustong pumunta sa destination na to. Next one is, impact of safety and security incidents on the destination government. This according to PISM and Mansfield 2006, they conclude that tourism is a major sector in the economy of every country. Therefore, security incidents that directly and severely affect tourism are a major concern locally, regionally, and nationally for the countries affected. Dito naman sabi nila PISM and Mansfield, ang tourism daw is they play a very big part of a country. Like, syempre, mga turista dito, mga turista yung mga nagbibigay ng profit dito sa tourism industry. Syempre, kung walang turista, walang profit na makukuha ang tourism industry. Kaya pag merong may nangyaring incidents sa isang destination, maapektuhan din ang buong bansa kasi kakaunti na lamang ang gustong pumuntang mga tourist dito sa bansang to. And last one is, government constantly assess the impact of security incidents considering the sector fragility, instability. They may implement new security measure, aid in damage control, offer financial assistance for tourism crisis, and even participate in tourism marketing.
So yung next topic is about impact of safety and security incidents on the generating markets and their government. According to PISM and Mansfield 2006, when people plan to visit to other countries, yung government, ang ginagawa niya is nagmamonitor siya kung anong level ng safety doon sa mga destination. They regularly give updates or reports about any risk na pwedeng mangyari, which called advisory bulletin. So, itong advisory bulletin na to is nagsaserve siya to give advice and usually warning sa lugar na pupuntahan. And they do this to protect their citizens safe and to avoid having rescue in case of emergency. So, yung bulletin na to is naapektuhan niya yung both travelers and yung destination. So, sa traveler, usually, ang kailangan lang naman niya is yung mga warning or yung mga alert dun sa mismong lugar. And para kung may gusto siyang baguhin dun sa plans niya accordingly. Pero doon sa destination na na-mention na may warning is mahihirapan. Why? Because they might lose visitor and kailangan pa nila na i-work out to fix or improve yung image nila sa traveler. And also, yung warning can make travel more expensive, which make trip costing a lot of travel. Kasi sometimes, if yung government is sinabihan niya na sobrang delikadong puntahan or i-visit yung mismo place, ang mangyayari niyan, yung insurance companies is hindi nila yon mako-cover or sagot sa trip mo at all. So, yung government, lahat ng ina-advise nila ay merong impact sa mga taong nagde-decide para pumunta, para bakasyon or gusto nilang puntahan yung destinasyon. So, additionally, yung media is sobrang laki ng role niya, especially kung paano nila gusto ipakita yung lugar if there's a safety concern. Next. Yung next is media coverage and image perception management during safety and security incident. So dito naman, according to PISM and Mansfeld 2006, Tasky and Gartner 2007, yung safety and security incident naman usually ito yung palaging nakikita sa news because they are seen as really important for people. We all know naman na yung media is sobrang powerful niya because it trusted by many people and sobrang dali lang makalat yung mga information kapag may nangyayaring masama sa lugar, like yung crime or disaster. Kaya yung media sobrang daming sinasabi and dito nakikita or naiisip ng mga tao sa lugar na dito na mag-start na makikita nila na yung lugar na gusto nilang i-visit is too risky pala siya or hindi siya safe puntahan. Kahit na usually is safe naman. Pero dahil nga sa media, yun parang nami-misinformation yung nagaganap doon. So, yung media naman is sobrang, sabi ko nga kanina, yung media is napakalaking role niya na yung perception of different destination natin is nagbe-base na lang siya sa story and na nagsasabi about safety and security incidents. So, yung next naman is according to Somes 1999, Kavlek 2002, Pisam and Mansfeld 2006, Bentley and Page 2008, Riti Chain Nuwat and Chakraborty 2009, sabi nila na yung media marami sinasabi kapag madaming nangyayaring masama sa tourist, like yung accident or yung crimes nga. So, nagiging problema to sa mga tao dahil takot na silang mag-travel sa lugar. And maisip nila na going to place is too risky nga. And ang nangyayari is fewer people na lang yung mga nagbi-visit kasi nga na-issue na siya or naibalita na hindi siya safe puntahan kahit naman na hindi naman ganun ka delikado. So, yung media is mas nagpo-focus siya sa negative tourist incident and yung mga small problems nito is nagte-turn into a big crisis for a destination. Yung kay naman, Pisam and Mansfeld 2006, pinopoint nila yung media na hindi daw lahat ng sinasabi sa media is fair or totoo. Parang hindi siya balanced view. So, instead na mag-report sila ng mga facts, ganon. So, yung iba, tinginan nila sa media is nag-a-act na lang ng interpreter or meaning they give their own opinion and assessment. So, mas ginagawa nilang delikado yung destination dahil sa mga kinakalat nilang misinformation kaysa doon sa pinaka-actual na pangyayari. So, the media can sometimes make teams seem scarier than they really are when it comes to travel to certain places. Next, ay, wait lang. According to PISM and Mansfeld 2006, Bentley 2010, over time, yung media tends to talk less about safety and security incident that happened in the past. Pero, if similar incident na nangyari ulit siya, na yung mga visitor are talagang nasaktan or napatay, yung media is nag-start na naman silang pag-usapan ito na nagkakalat na naman sila ng mga misinformation or mga pangyayari na hindi naman talaga ganun yung nangyari para maging malala lang siya sa media, sa mga tao. So they keep focusing on negative aspect nga and nagki-create siya ng long-lasting bad reputation on that place. So yung media is nagkikip siya ng negative image sa place alive for a long time, especially if bad things keep happening there. According to kay PISM and Mansfeld 2006 naman, when people see a lot of bad things about place in the news, they might decide na hindi puntahan yung lugar because iniisip nila na sobrang risky siya. So, dito, sobrang laking problema nito for the tourism industry and sa government kasi sobrang importante sa kanila ito na i-share nila yung own message na fact lang, facts, tsaka fair, and dapat mas nagpo-focus sila na i-promote yung mga good things about sa destination na kailangan ma-counteract nila yung mga negative into negative information to positive information. So also they should figure out kung ano yung iisipin ng mga tao about their place and how they interpret the information they get so they can respond in a best way. In short, ang importante na yung tourism industry and government is to balance out of the bad stories with good one to keep people interested in visiting. So, next topic po.
So let's proceed to prevention, reduction, mitigation, and recovery from safety security incidents. So the prevention, reduction, mitigation, and recovery from safety and security incidents in an increasingly insecure and threatened world, destinations have to anticipate and prevent major security and safety incidents and their consequences because a peaceful, secure environment is necessary to survive a tourist destination. So dito malalaman na natin yung kung paano natin maiiwasan yung mga crimes, mga pwedeng mga terrorist attack, yung mga masasamang pwedeng mangyari sa isang tourist destination. So according to PISM and Mansfeld, that there's two ways on how to deal with security incidents. So the first one is before occurrence and the second one is after occurrence. So let's proceed to before occurrence. Before occurrence first. So before occurrence or in Tagalog, bago pa mangyari. So bakit may before occurrence pa? It's because para just in case na may mangyaring insidente or may padating na insidente, hindi ka magpapanik and you know what you're gonna do when it happens. For example, we have a tornado warning that's coming in our area or in our city. So what you're gonna do is, of course, stock up some food supplies, some clothes, some emergency kits, some batteries, flashlights, and etc. So that if the tornado is already in your area, you're ready already. So the next one is after occurrence. So ano naman ang dapat gawin doon? So let's go back to our example, yung tornado. The first thing that you're gonna do is to check your members. If may kasama ka during that tornado incident, check whether it's your family or your friends, check them if they're safe, if they're okay physically and emotionally. Syempre, mabibigla sila, masashock sila. So, and then, yon. And then, the next one is PISM 1999 and PISM and Mansfeld 2006 says that there's six ways or strategies on how we prevent the crimes and violation at a tourist destination. So the first one is the legislative measures. So basically, this is a law in tourism industry where they protect us tourists in any fraud that we encounter. And of course, to protect our rights and to ensure that we are treated fairly. But if ever man na may mangyari na scam or na fraud sila, yung pupuntahan nilang tourist destination na dapat nilang puntahan, they must pay the victim as long as mag-testify yung victims against sa proprietor. Then the second one is the special units. Ito naman are or special police unit, sorry. Ito naman, yung mga SPUs are well-trained na police to protect us tourists and of course the locals. So dito, example na lang is may bomb threat sa isang place. And of course, if merong bomb threat doon sa isang place na yun, automatic na notify sila na may threat na nangyari sa place na yun. So what they gonna do is kilos sila agad-agad to check if there's really bomb inside or yung minsan yung pinaprank lang talaga sila na parang para magpanic lang yung mga turista doon sa lugar na yon. And then next is improving of private sectors security measures. So ito naman is are the hotels, roads, CCTVs are safe and are the CCTVs working 24/7 and does your employees are well trained just in case na may mangyari. So ito naman is hotels like if there's a security guards there na nag-duty, if yung mga doors ba ng mga hotel rooms nyo is hindi ba siya agad-agad mapapasukan ng mga masasamang tao. Like ganun, yan yung mga yun, yung improvement of private sectors and security measures. And of course, yung well-trained yung employees, of course, yung just in case na maglaban yung masamang tao, kaya ba niyang labanan, ganon. Pero hindi naman yung lalabanan agad-agad if ever man na yung parang if ever man na may tanning na, yung ganun ba? I forgot the word. Parang pero pa may tanning na or if ever man na may mangyari sa heart attack, ganun na lang yung isang tourist, ganyan dahil sa sobrang panic niya. Kaya niya bang does he or she knows how to do a CPR, ganun stuff yung parang well-trained. And then the fourth one is warning and educating tourists. So ito naman, as part of the tourist industry, you must orient your tourists if meron bang problema sa lugar ninyo, like may ginagawa bang roads or sarado ba. For example na lang, and this is based on my experience, I actually attend a Enhypen concert and naganap to sa New Clark City or NCC. So what the Clark officer or Clark officer, ethics officer, nandun sa dalawa, what they did is they open yung usually closed na highway doon papuntang NCC and inopen nila yon para of course yung mga pupunta sa concert doon na sila dadaan and para hindi na din mag-cause ng traffic pa or ng heavy traffic pa sa mga iba din na nagbabiyahe na hindi na mapupunta doon. So parang maluwag na yung ganon. And yun yung parang warning and educating tourists. And then awareness of the local citizens. So this is the fifth one already. So ang sinasabi naman dito is alam natin pag ang isang turista is pumapasyal sa isang lugar, minsan hindi na nila naalala yung mga gamit nila to the point na nakawan na pala sila. And minsan sa huli na lang nila na-realize na nakawan na sila. So you as a local citizen sa isang tourist spot na yun, ikaw na yung kumilos if ever man may nakikita ka na or may nanonotice ka na parang hindi normal. If ever man na may nakita ka na o may na-notice ka na yun, whether masama ba siya, might as well na i-report mo na immediately sa mga tourism heads or tourism officers or sa mga police para hindi na lumaki pa yung gulo or hindi mo na hintayin na may nawala pa tapos doon mo lang i-report talaga na ay nakita ko yun pero ganyan. Like that's bad or parang hindi naman that's bad pero parang wag mo nang idating dun sa point na yun na kailangan nanakawan na siya like ganon. So and the last one is introducing social changes. Here naman is a local citizen sa tourist spot na yung madalas na nakikita nila is yung mga tourist is mayayaman. Ngayon naman, ngayon para ma-improve yung social gap na yun is bigyan ng mga tourist, mga officers ng mga trabaho yung mga locals doon para na din kumita sila ng pera sa tourist industry para sa ganun maging iba yung pananaw ng mga locals sa mga sa turista na bumibisita doon sa place na yon. So the next one is according to PISM 2002 says that all private sectors must train all the tourism employees into security employees by training them into security and emergency operation. For example, yung nangyari na 911 or 911 sa NYC sa New York City dahil dito the private sectors became more strict especially sa airport nila lalo na sa loob ay pag may palabas and may pumapasok sa bansa nila especially pag may pumapasok sa bansa nila they're very strict on that kasi ayaw na nila yung mangyari ulit yung nangyari nung 911 na may terrorist attack na nangyari. And then, same researcher pa din na si PISM 2002, recommend that public sectors must initiate and improve the security and safety of all public modes and transportation and educate and train the citizens to be aware and vigilant in any potential terrorist activities in their community. It's basically you as a local citizen or as a tourist must cooperate with the local police units para maging alerto kayo for any potential terrorist attacks. So, the next one is OCUMOS 2005. So, as mentioned earlier, safety incidents, unlike security incidents naman, are more occurrence when tourists are injured accidentally and intentionally. So, you as a stakeholder are responsible to take care of the tourist safety. Kagaya na lang, if ever, sa Museo ng Angeles, what they did is, may nakaharang na sa isang kwarto para hindi na makapasok yung mga pumapasyal doon. It's because, according to my friend, is marupok na daw yung floor doon. Marupok na yung floor doon kasi yung floor doon is wood pa din ata. And so imagine nyo na lang if they still continue na papasukin yung mga turista doon, baka may mangyari pang masama sa kanila. And if may nangyari mang masama sa kanila, whether you like it or not, ikaw ang mananagot if ever man na masaktan sila. And of course, ayaw naman nating mangyari na dumating pa sa point na yon. And then, sila Petit naman, et al. And Ritti Chainowat and Chakaburi, 2009 na language barrier is one of the problems sa isang tourism industry. And dahil doon, nahihirapan tayo makipag-communicate sa mga ibang tao. So, ang gusto lang paalam gusto lang naman ng researchers na ito is dapat inclusive ang isang destination sa multilingual communication. And dapat marunong sila makipag-communicate ng ibang language sa ibang mga tourists. Hindi lang dapat na Taglish, ganyan. Kasi may mga lugar na hindi talaga nakakaintindi ng English. Like, nakakaintindi sila pero sobrang konti lang ng English. For example, like, if merong mga Koreans or may mga Japanese, dapat alam mo kung paano ka magsalita ng mga lengguwahe nila para hindi nagkakaroon ng language barrier. And then, of course, para ma-feel din ng mga turistang yun na belong sila, parang welcome sila sa lugar ninyo. And then, the next one is si Page et al. 2005 says that tourists might suffer from safety incidents as a result as a result of their behavior and the activities that they chose to embark upon. So the operators are responsible to control the risk associated with latent errors through assessment. So yung mga ganito is yung mga allocentrics na hilig ang mga extreme rights or activities. So, so ang example dito is may pinanood ako before. It's called Nanator. And yung Nanator na yun is they went to Italy, and nung ka-day 4 nila doon, yung host is pinag-zipline niya yung mga nandoon. So, they're 13 boys, and before they start na mag-zipline, yung professional doon, yung, di ba pag nag-zipline tayo or bungee jumping, ganyan, yung parang may mga dalawang kuya or isang kuya nandun doon sa taas na. So, yun yung mga professionals na sila yung mga gumagabay sa atin. So, ang sinasabi lang dito na yung mga professionals na yun is sila yung mag-i-explain kung saan ka lang pwede hahawak, ganyan. Yun yung ginawa ng kuya doon sa Nanator na in-explain niya kung saan lang sila pwedeng humawak, ano lang yung mga poses na pwede nilang gawin during nag-zipline sila, like may mga Superman, Angel, ganyan-ganyan, and ilang tao lang ang pwedeng pumasok or pwedeng magsabay dun sa zipline na yun. Kasi yung zipline na yun is sobrang haba, and may madadaanan pa sila na parang may water pa, like beach ata yung ano na yun, and then land na, like as in sobrang haba talaga. So it's very important na meron talagang yung i-guide mo na nila, i-instruct mo na niya yung mga boys para hindi din sila ma-aksidente. So, next slide naman is destinations that are available to effectively recover from the aftermath of security and safety incidents. Use a variety of strategies such as information, dissemination marketing, schemes, and financial assistance programs. Information dissemination consists of acknowledgement by the public authorities that problems exist and a problem to correct them as soon as possible. The authorities issue daily updates to the media, local tourist businesses and their employees, and to the tourists in the generating markets, reassuring everyone that the destination is safe or is on its way to recover. So the perfect example here is yung Japan. As alam naman natin lahat, or as all we know is, ang Japan is parating nilalagsan ng mga calamities like tsunamis, earthquakes, and yung nabalitaan natin before na magkaroon ng sinkhole sa kanila, no, sa gitna ng daan during their busy days sa Japan. And then, but even though na madami ng dumating na calamity sa kanila, sobrang bilis pa din nila makarecover, and especially yung nagka-sinkhole, like imagine, like for example, nagka-sinkhole ngayon, like within that day, inayos talaga nila, and then the next day, like patag na ulit. Like parang walang nangyaring sinkhole, yung ganun ba. Like, imagine mo na like, hindi sila naging cause ng aberya sa mga locals and sa mga tourists na nandoon sa place na yon. And yun yung dapat kailangan ma-improve pa sa isang tourist destination. And then, in conclusion, providing a safe and secure environment is an absolute necessity for successfully tourism development at the destination level. Therefore, it is important for the officials of every destination marketing organizations or the DMO to fully understand the impact that such incidents might have on tourist demand to the destination and devise an appropriate strategies will not be effective and incident will occur. Destination managers must develop recovery methods that will enable the destination to return to normal condition in an expeditious and speedy manner. So to sum things up, safety and security are two crucial parts of the tourist destination. Kaya ang DMO or Destination Management Organization, dapat nagpipay sila ng utmost importance sa security and safety. Kasi ang nangyayari, ang isang incident or tragic incident, maaapektuhan yan yung image sa isang destination, which pag naapektuhan yung image nila, yung mga tourist niyan is magkakaroon na ng negative feedback na excuse me, na magkakaroon sila ng negative feedback na ay pangit yung destination, like hindi siya safe, like may nang nangyari dito, like etc. Which is mangyayari nun is parang nangyari nun is malalasin yung mga turista sa lugar na iyon. So, sabihin nun, less tourist means less profit din sa destination na yun. So, dapat sobrang dalang lang dapat magkaroon ng tragic incidents. However, kung may mangyari man, dapat yung mga manager ng isang destination, they need to act fast para ma-solve na yung problem nila and para hindi na mag-worse pa, so that they can back on track and continue to operate, no? And to compete and still parang takbo ulit sila sa pagko-compete with other tourist destination. And that's it for the reporting po of group 7. So thank you so much po.